Yo, what's good to all my young investors, and welcome back to the channel. And for today's video, I actually want to start off with a question. Did you know that LeBron James owns a chain of 19 pizza franchises called Blaze Pizza? Or what about him having minority ownership in Liverpool, one of the biggest football clubs in the world? And what about his catchy Taco Tuesday phrase that he tried to trademark back in 2019 to make money off of? And Drake, what about him? Did you guys know that he's an investor in the esports team called 100 Thieves? I want you guys to know that all the biggest athletes and celebrities go way deeper than just sports and entertainment. There's a business side to things that I personally feel we could all learn from. So of course, today's video is just that, the biggest business lessons and stories from the biggest celebrities and athletes in the world. So grab a pen and a notebook and be prepared to take some notes. I got you guys with some golden information in today's video. But before we get into the rest of today's video, I wanted to give you guys a light appetizer with today's gem of the day. And of course, today's gem of the day is stop thinking with a greed and scarcity mindset. There's absolutely no shortage of money out there. I want you guys to focus on your passion and how you can monetize it. Those are the first few steps that we can all take to get where we need to be in life. And of course, with that being said, let's get into the golden information in today's video. So of course, business lesson number one comes from the one and only Beyonce. And it's think about the bigger picture. Check this out, you guys. Back in 2018, Beyonce headlined Coachella. She was supposed to be paid $8 million for her performance, but she ended up taking half of that original $8 million payment and opted for the rights of her performance footage instead. She then turned around and sold that very same footage to Netflix for over $20 million. And get this, on top of this, she sold 2 more projects to Netflix, each totaling $20 million as well. And all in all, she ended up making a deal with Netflix totaling $60 million, which is crazy. Sometimes we gotta really disregard that short-term gain and think about the bigger picture. The back-end payment is almost always heftier than the front-end payment. Remember that, you guys. Myself, for example, I quite often get asked about my portfolio and why I'm investing so aggressively to only be getting $20 to $40 back. And the answer is pretty much always the same. I'm not really thinking about those short-term gains, those $20 to $40. I'm thinking about 5, 10, 15, 20 years in advance. The dividends are gonna grow faster and faster through compound interest over time, and the value of the companies that I own are also gonna go up over time as well. Those $20 to $40, that's the front end payment that most people seem to be focused on. The small gains, but what they fail to look at is the back end, where most of the real money is almost always made. I really want you guys to think bigger, to look at the bigger picture. And so, that's business lesson number one, coming from Beyonce. Think about the bigger picture. So of course, let's move forward to lesson number two. So, lesson number two is coming from the one and only Russ. And it's know the importance of ownership, leverage, and passive income. So back in 2015, Russ was dropping a song a week trying to get on. And he was using a website called TuneCore, which then allowed him to put his music on platforms like iTunes. But here's the catch, you guys. TuneCore lets its artists have 100% of the sales made from their music. So when his streams started to go up eventually, so did his money. He had 100% complete ownership over his music catalog. He went from making 20 cents a month from his music to well into the 6 figures range gradually. What's even better though is that he didn't even have a record deal. Keep in mind this was complete passive income from music that he wrote, mixed, mastered, and engineered. This was all of his money to keep, besides taxes of course. And better yet, you guys, he knew the power of ownership and leverage. He leveraged his catalog of music that was already making him money to get the best deals possible with record labels. And so he eventually ended up signing with the record label and was able to get a 50-50 split from all the money made from his projects. And on top of this, he kept 100% ownership over his music catalog. That's a very uncommon deal. When you already have value built for yourself, it's easier to just step into any table, because at the end of the day, you're good with or without the help. Focus on creating value for yourself, and then once you do, leverage it to create something even bigger. Leverage is everything, you guys. I mean, think of Graham Stephan, for example. The guy consistently uploaded and grew his YouTube channel, and then leveraged it to create merch for his subscribers, and then just leveraged it some more to create a podcast. There's countless examples of leverage, you guys. I mean, at the end of the day, they're just blueprints. At its most simple form, leverage is this. Build something, and then use that to build something bigger, and once you do that, do the same exact thing. And so that's lesson number two coming from Russ, and it's know the importance of ownership, leverage, and passive income. Let's move on to lesson number three. So, lesson number 3 comes from a legend, in my opinion, Nipsey Hussle. And it's know the importance of assets over liabilities and be prepared to sacrifice. Nipsey was cut from a different cloth, in my opinion. I can literally make a whole video on the moves this man made, but that's content for another day. So, the first one that I wanted to speak on was know the importance of assets over liabilities. Nipsey showed us what's possible when your mind is right and you've educated yourself financially at a young age. He was not only coming up on the music game, he had the financial game all wrapped up by the age of 21. There's gonna be a short interview linked in the description below that I really want you guys to check out after today's video. It's about a young Nipsey Hussle talking about why he didn't buy chains and diamonds with his money. He knew at that age that material things like shoes, chains, and cars depreciated over time, which means that they lose value over time. And he also knew that things like real estate, for example, appreciated over time. Hence, he knew what he had to do. Assets first, liabilities second. I want you guys to know that it's possible if you educate yourself and start setting the building blocks in place. Once you do that, you're gone and nobody's gonna be able to catch you. And as for sacrificing, we gotta be able to take 3 steps back to be able to take 10 forward. Nipsey stopped hustling and he really stepped back from social functions as well so that he could really focus on his craft. The glamour was fading and his money got low, but he stayed true to himself and worked relentlessly. He essentially stayed down until he came up. I mean, like he said himself, you really can't escape your karma, whether it's good or bad. If you really stay true to yourself and put in the work, it's gonna come back around eventually. All of us have different sacrifices that we've made or that we need to make. I really want you guys to look at yourself and ask, am I willing to let the distractions go, put my head down, and get to work? It's an answer that only you're gonna know. So of course, that's lesson number 3 from Nipsey Hussle. Know the importance of assets over liabilities and be prepared to sacrifice. Before we get to the 4th and last lesson for today's video, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could leave a quick thumbs up. It helps the channel out like crazy, and every single time you guys like, comment, subscribe, and share the videos, YouTube really notices. So thank you. I appreciate all of you. And without further ado, let's move on to business lesson number 4 coming from Drake. And it's Diversify. If you guys know about Drake, you'll know that he has his hands dipped in just about every music genre there actually is. This guy's doing R&B, pop, rap, he's doing UK drill, and he's even got his hands dipped in the Jamaican scene as well. If we really look into it though, he's making sure that he's not put into a box. This gives him options on future projects and deals as well. The diversification travels to the business side too. He's got a clothing brand, he's working on a candle fragrance company, he's invested into the esports team called 100 Thieves, he's got major equity stake in a whiskey company called Virginia Black, and he's one of, if not the only non-athlete that I know of that's got a Nike deal. And even crazier, that Nike deal, it's reportedly worth over $100 million. And that's not even all of it when it comes to this guy. He, as just about every other millionaire and billionaire, know that having one source of income is just way too close to having none. I mean, it's no coincidence that this guy's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Diversification applies to all of us as well. Let's say that you guys get a job. You then invest in yourself and become a person of value, which in turn then allows you to start something like a YouTube channel, for example. You then invest into something like the stock market. You then save a bit of capital and start to invest into other businesses. And once you do that, you keep educating yourself and start to dabble into something like real estate. Those are 5 potential sources of income that all of us could realistically achieve. And honestly, you guys, there's plenty more to list out. Like I've already mentioned before, wealth leaves clues for us to apply to our situations. It's just up to us to do so. So of course, that's business lesson number 4 coming from Drake, and it's Diversify. And with that, I just wanted to quickly say thank you to all of you guys for sticking with me all the way to the end of the video. I got plenty more gems of information for you guys. Of course, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. And of course, let me know in the comments down below which business lesson was your favorite. And with that being said, beat the odds and do the numbers. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.